I was living in California at the time, and I had to fly out here to find a house. And I went into the John Lang Building Center, and I met Carl. Carl was actually the first person that I met. And I got to know him over the course of a few months. And he became one of my lifelong friends. I've known Carl for over 15 years now.
We talk regularly, and
Yeah.
you know, like anytime anything happens, he just knows. Like he'll call me and text me like, "Is your mom okay? Is everything okay?" I'm like, "How do you know?" He just knows. So. Anyways, you recording?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Ryan Kaler. He is the owner of the infamous Social Dilemma House, and we are here to kind of, you know, talk to you and
Just
see.
hang it.
Yeah, haven't seen you in a while, and you know, we talk all the time, but
It's
it's a good
always
chance
good.
for me to,
It's
you know,
always
kind of
great to
catch
see
up.
you. Yeah, it's always great to see
And
you.
introduce you, honestly, to my new partner.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
I think she has a few questions for you, though.
I do, and I have to tell you, Ryan, that the Social Dilemma affirmed for me my decision that my kids were not going to have cell phones until they were in high school. I'm the mean mom. But just wanted to take a minute and ask you a couple questions
Sure.
about your time in Central Park and your lovely home on your beautiful corner lot, my favorite. So if you just want to maybe share with me like one of your favorite things about your time in Central Park.
I got to know all my neighbors.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when I first moved in here, I didn't know anybody here. So I threw a barbecue, and I invited all the neighbors, and as a result, all of my neighbors got to meet each other. And we've been lifelong friends ever since. We have barbecues after work. You know, people would order pizza. We would hang out in the park. In this street, before we all had kids, at about 4 o'clock in the morning, we were outside throwing a football and drinking scotch. So, you know, Staple,
It's pretty.
Central Park now. I'm sorry.
That's a pretty standard issue in Stapleton. I mean,
Well,
Central Park.
Central
Yeah.
Park. You got to remember the.
Yeah, I agree with the name
That's a
change,
tough
but
change,
you
yeah.
got to give me
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
breaks
it's-
here.
yeah,
20
it's-
years of saying it.
Yeah.
But what he said is absolutely very standard for Stapleton.
Yeah,
in Central Park / Staples Park.
It's a sense of community. I mean,
Block parties, people are very aware of their neighbors, and they are very considerate of everybody else in this neighborhood. So
I would have to say that.
yeah.
And we all of our kids have grown up together, because when we first moved here, there were only 4 kids around this block, and at one point in time there were 65 kids living in these homes.
Oh my
around
goodness,
this block.
65?
Yeah, and that's from when we moved in.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's a great place. If you have kids, it's a great place to raise kids, because you know you have the park and the kids come out and play, and you know it's safe.
Yeah. They did such a phenomenal job with the community planning here. There are so many green spaces and parks, and I think that's something that I think is so well loved by so many of the residents, that there's just a sense of community because of the planning really is so conducive for neighbors to know each other and kids to play together. I think you made such a great point in bringing that up. It's really
It's
so great.
so I've lived here and sold here since 2001. When I first bought here, you could probably see land as far as you go. So when you talk about the planning of it, it was all on paper. I'm glad it all came to fruition.
Yeah.
But you know, when you first bought here, you bought in 2005. I moved here and bought my first home 2001. So for you, you're 4 years later, you're still considered one of the originals in my opinion.
I remember when you brought me out here. It was dirt. It was nothing but dirt.
Yeah.
It was a dirt lot. And I was trying to visualize what it was going to look like, because, as he stated, there was broken up runway out this way. There was one bridge to get in and out of here, up here. They didn't have the bridge down here yet, and it was like one side to the bridge, and Havana was closed, so it didn't go all the way through. And I'm thinking to myself, what have I gotten myself into? Because I mean, there was nothing here.
And I was selling homes at the time. I was thinking the same thing.
You know, you're in a new neighborhood, and you're wondering, okay, how is this going to go? And, you know, they had all these plans, like he said, on paper. It looked great on paper.
Yeah.
But, you know, seeing it all come together, I mean, it was an amazing process. This park, the night that they delivered the grass for this park, they came at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was the only house on the block. There was nothing out here. I mean, it was pitch black.
You were the first one that closed.
Yeah, and the truck came, you hear this huge truck come through, and then he just dropped the pallets of grass, and off he went. And then the next day, the guys came and they put it in, and they turned on the sprinklers, and the rest is history.
Wow.
We got in on the ground level, and I'm glad that we did. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great place.
You're like the custodian of the
Yeah,
neighborhood,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You welcomed everyone in.
I did.
Kind of built community.
All of these houses, I've been in every one of these houses because there was nothing out here. I mean,
Half these houses I've sold.
Yeah.
So I've been to half these houses because I've sold them.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
Yeah, I
amazing
mean-
to see something grow from that level. Yeah.
And, you know, we did go through the thing where we were supposed to get a grocery store the first 10 years.
It's in. It's in. I told you it was going in. I didn't know it was gonna take 10 years, but it's in now.
It only took 10 years for them to put the
I
thing
promised
in.
you a grocery store, but
But
I
they,
didn't know.
I must say this, they did an amazing job with that whole process and that whole area, because initially, you know, they kept saying, oh, you're going to get a grocery store, you're going to get it. Nothing ever happened. So people were starting to get kind of, you know,
Yeah.
weary.
Uh-huh.
And then when they built it, they did a phenomenal job. I mean, the restaurants, the store, just, you can walk with this.
Yeah.
You don't have to leave your bubble. So Central Park is basically a bubble. If you
Yeah.
don't want to leave, you don't have to, because you have everything that you need here.
It's very convenient here. For sure.
You have the rec center down the street. You have food, shopping, and the grocery store.
Yeah.
You have the Stanley right up the street.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
just had lunch there.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a great place. Just
Totally.
like now, you see kids in the park over here.
Yep.
You see people with their little kids, people walking their dogs. That's another thing. If you have animals, this is a great place because just about everybody has a dog. I had a dog, but my dog died, and my kids have been trying to get me to get another one. I can't go through that yet.
Are you sure you can hear that from there, though?